If I call you out in the hallway this week, it won't be good. You won't have anything jolly to say. Come back in here. Remember, those cameras can't hear what I say. They can just see me smiling. And I'll be chewing you out. They think I'm congratulating. That's what I learned when I taught middle school. I used to tell them, I said, they can't hear a word I'm saying to you, but they can see I'm smiling. When I taught middle school, I told them, I said, who they going to believe, me or you? You have a record. That's what I told that little kid one time. I wish y'all could saw me teach middle school. I loved it.
Middle school got too much drama.
I taught middle school for 6 years. Loved it. 8th grade is one of my favorite grades to teach.
Wow.
It's like seniors in middle school. So it's like I didn't write anybody up for like 2 years in middle school. Like I had nobody fail. It was like I just told them, I said, you have to pass math to go to middle school, so you can either work with me or fail and be back here with me next year. Now 7th grade was a different thing. I like 6th grade and 8th grade in middle school teaching. All right. So I want to graph this. 6th, 8th, 11th, and 12th is my favorite. 9th grade, oh Lord. 7th and 9th, ooh. And 10th is geometry. I don't care for geometry too much. All right. Where are we getting on and off the pieces at? What number do we need? A 2. I'm going to put a little mark right here. 2, we're shifting. Okay, so it says y equals 2. Is that going to be a horizontal or vertical line? Horizontal. It's going to be y equals 2. So I'm going to go up to 2. Will it be open or closed dot? Open. And it says for all x values less than 2, so it's going to be going that way. Okay. Now, to get my point here, I take this 2 and do what with it? Plug it in. What's 2 times 2? 4 minus 1 is 3. Open or closed? Closed. So I'm going to go to 2, 3. It says for all x values greater than or equal to, so it would be these values over here, wouldn't it? So I'm going to use my slope, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and graph my line. Now, let's list the domain and range. If I start from the left, my domain will be what? All real numbers. Because I'm going to hit it. This cancels this out, so I'm going the whole time. Now, range. Very good. Watch this. It will be bracket 2, because, look here, it's tricky here on this one. Isn't there a space between this and this? You said, Mr. shouldn't it be parentheses around 2? Well, that is open dot, but isn't it defined for 2 on this straight, solid line? So it's be bracket 2, union, bracket 3 to infinity. That would be my range for that particular problem.
So in the test, it'll be, or it'll be like showing pictures, and then it'll be like which.
You got to graph it and then tell me domain and range.
On the exam?
So I got multiple choice, A, B, C, D. I got 4 graphs and domain, and you got to choose. So all I have is pick the graph of that. All right. Number 2. I have a 3-piece here. 3-piece tender right here. All right. Chicken tender. I'm getting gray hair.
I'm seeing it here.
I'm getting gray hair here. It's falling out. Number 2. What? No, what'd he say?
I'm not going to say it again.
Life's about choice. You just made a good one. All right. So looking at this.
Don't go back and listen to it.
You didn't want to hear it on there.
You want me to tell you what? Go back, Raz.
No, go ahead. It won't make me mad. What?
You said I'm getting hair. You said I'm getting gray hair. I said what hair?
I took a lot meaner tests in middle school. All right.
Oh, you're not as mean as I know.
All right. Where's my first point that I need to be? -3. So I'm going to go 1. -3. And what's my other one? 1. So I'll put a mark there. Y equals 4. I'm going to go up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close dot. For all x values less than or equal to -3. So it's going to be that way. hope to goodness this is coming back to you now. You should be able to do this. Alright. X minus 1. How do I figure out my first point? Plug what number in? Negative 3 minus 1 is? So I'm going to go to negative 3, negative 4. Open dot. Then plug 1 in. 1 minus 1 is 0. Open dot. And use my slope to connect. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. That's my second piece. Can I use slope to graph this last piece? No, the quadratic function does not have a slope like a linear function. So we're just going to plug values in. I'll plug 1 in. What's 1 squared? 1. So I'm going to go to 1, put a closed dot, and I plug 2 in because I want x values greater than 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is my piecewise. My domain, start from the left. What will be my domain? All real numbers. Very good. That is all real numbers. Because this cancels this out, so you can keep going. Now your range. Okay, very good. Negative 4. What goes around negative 4? Parentheses to what? 0. What goes around 0? Oh, it's open dot, so it's union, then what? Bracket 1 to infinity. Very good. This right up here? Because this right here keeps going, so that takes care of that. Are there any questions on your piecewise? That reviews that. Alright, now let's turn to our study guide. We're going to pick up on number 14 through 18 today. Number 14 says graph using transformations. First thing we need to do, guys, is pick out our parent function. What's our parent function in that? What type of parent are we dealing with here? Quadratic. Very good. So I'm going to start off with a basic table of functions for quadratic. Negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. I plug that into the quadratic y equals x squared. Okay, work from inside out. What does this minus 2 affect, guys? It affects your what coordinates? X. You're moving it what? Right 2 or left 2? So what will I add to my x values? I will add what?
2.
Positive 2, because it's opposite what you think. So it has to be 0, negative 1 plus 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. So I'm done with that. What does this do? How does that affect the graph? Stretches by a factor of vertically or horizontally? So that's going to affect your y. Okay, so I'm going to multiply my y coordinates by 2.
If it was like a point something, would it be horizontally?
If it was on inside with that parentheses next to x, you will multiply it by the x's.
Okay.
Like if it was parentheses 2x. You will multiply by 2 or 1/2? 1/2. If it was on the inside like this there, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal on the x coordinates. Okay? What does this negative 5, what does it affect? The y. So you're going to add what to your y's? Negative 5. Very good. So 8 and negative 5 gives you 3. 2 and negative 5 gives you negative 3. Negative 5, negative 3, and 3. So those are the coordinates you graph for that quadratic. And that would be your graph. And you told me in the beginning it was stretching. When you stretch a rubber band, what happens to that rubber band? It gets what? Tighter, isn't it? Do you see how that parabola is closing and tighter? Yes. When you shrink a rubber band, let's say you let the pressure go, it gets spattered on it, the rubber band. That's what shrinking does. When you shrink the pressure on a rubber band, it gets spattered. But this one's going to get tighter right here. Are there any questions on number 14? All right, what's your apparent function on number 15? It's a cubic. It is a cubic. So x cubed, so I'm going to make my chart. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. That gives me negative 8, negative 1, 0, 1, and 8. What's that plus 2 going to do? Affect the x or the y? So I'm going to add positive 2 or negative 2 to my x. That 1/4, am I going to stretch or shrink by a factor of 1/4? Shrink. Is that going to multiply the x or the y's? The y's. It's on the outside. So negative 8 times 1/4 is negative 2. Negative 1/4, 0, 1/4, and then 2. And you're going to graph those ordered pairs. So negative 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. What's your domain on that? All real numbers. What's your range? All real numbers. All right, number 16. What type of function we're dealing with here? What type of function is that? What? Quadratic. Very good. I want to find the vertex. How do I start? Well, first of all, it says y-intercept. That's easy. What's my y-intercept? 3. You can put y-intercept equals 3. How can I write that as an ordered pair? 0, 3. All right, we want to find the vertex. We're going to start off with x equals negative b over what? 2a. Remember, that starts off just like the axis of symmetry. The only way you find your vertex is once you find x, you take that, plug it back in to find y. What is your b value here? 6. So I'm going to put opposite be 6. 2 times 2. That gives me 6 over 4, which is 3/2. Now I'm going to plug that back in. 2, 3/2 is 9/4. That's going to give me 18 over 2. 18 over 4 minus 18 over 2 plus 3. I think that gives me negative 3/2. Make sure I did that right. So your vertex would be negative 3/2. I mean 3/2, negative 3/2. So 1.5 comma negative 1.5.
Could you plug that in your calculator?
Yeah. To plug that in, that's why I just asked y'all to check me to make sure. Okay. Guys, when I ask you to put stuff in your calculator, you got to do this. Just sitting there is not going to. I'm going to stop doing it then and just let you work these problems. Did anybody check it? That's right. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on 14, 15, and 16? All right, 17. It says, for this polynomial, we're reviewing our polynomial unit now. F of x equals 4 times x minus 6 times x plus 4 squared. List each real zero and its multiplicity, then sketch the graph. All right. We want to find the zeros. Do I have to worry about this 4? No, because it doesn't have a what with it? Variable. So, first of all, let's do the degree. What's my degree of this? 3. Very good. Degree is 3. Let's talk about y. Understood 1 here? 1, 2, 3, because you got to count it twice. My zeros. What's my first 0? X equals what? 6. My second one's x equals, and it's a multiplicity of what? What occurs at x equals -4? A bump or a break? Bump. You're going to bump the graph. So let's graph it. This is number 17. -4 there, 6 there. Remember, degree 3, your end's going to be pointing in opposite directions. Also, your leading coefficient's what? Positive. We need to know that because that affects how I'm going to sketch the graph. And there's my graph, my sketched graph of that. It's going to be increasing from left to right because the leading coefficient is positive. You need to review those rules. Any questions? 17.
Question on number 8. I don't know if we've done that one yet.
We have, buddy. Come see her up here and I'll help you with that one. We've done that. Number 18. It says, write an equation of the graph shown. Okay. Put P of X for polynomial. List the zeros. First off, we know it's going to be even degree because both of the ends are pointing in the same direction. My zeros are x equals 0, x equals 1, x equals 2. There's a bump at x equals 2, so x equals 1, so I put a multiplicity of 2 there. So, x equals 0. When you have x equals 0, you put an x out here in the front of it. Then x minus 1 squared, because multiplicity of 2, and then x equals 2. Any questions how to write the equation of that graph? We're going to finish 19 and 20 and practice some more of this on Wednesday, okay? You feel like we've done okay? Are y'all like how we reviewed a little bit every day? Okay. Alright, you want to put that away? Now we're going to review for our test tomorrow. You do not have this, just pay attention. These are problems Mr. Hester made up this weekend. We're just going to work through them. Your test tomorrow is 24 questions. The first 11 are not multiple choice, but the rest of them are, okay? Number 1, it says it covers all these 3 learning targets, and then the last learning target, so 4 learning targets on your test form. It says find the values of the 6 trig functions for theta. Okay, so you got this triangle. Do I need to find this side right here, guys? Yes. How would I find that? Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, I'm looking for a leg. You get 96. Take the square root of that. That's going to be 4 square root of 6.
It's like 9.7.
But I don't want a decimal. I want you to get this and break it down. 4 square root of 6. Because you're writing it in fraction form, you don't want to have decimals in a fraction. So 4 square root of 6. Now, I want to sine of theta. There's theta. What's opposite of theta? 5 over 11. What's the reciprocal sign? Cosecant. So I just flip it. Cosine of theta. What's adjacent? 4 square root of 6 over hypotenuse. Secant. I flip this. Now, can I leave that square root of 6 in the denominator? No, I count that off tomorrow if you do that. Rationalize 11 square root of 6. 6 times 6 is going to give me square root of 36, isn't it? What's square root of 36? 6 times 4 is 24. Can I reduce 11 and 24? No. This is your last 60% grade for this 9 weeks. Tangent of theta. 5 over 4 square root of 6. Got to rationalize. I get 5 square root of 6 over 24. Can I reduce 5 and 24? No. Cotangent. Now my question for you, am I going to flip the first one or this one right here? The first one, because that's the definition. So that's going to be 4 square root of 6 over 5. I don't need to do anything with that because square root of 6 in the numerator, and you cannot reduce 4 and 5. You have a couple of problems like number 1. Number 2, finding missing sides or angles. These are right triangles. Do you need to use law of sines and cosines on this? No, you use your simple ratios. What's the relationship here? Opposite, and that's the what? Hypotenuse. What's opposite and hypotenuse? Sine 20 equals x over 32. Cross multiply. Get x equals 10.9. Here you're finding an angle. What's your relationship? Opposite and what? So I'm going to use what? Tangent. Would I hit tan or second tan? Second tan. 19.2 divided by 17. You see I put that in? That's going to be 48.5. Any questions on 2 and 3? Number 4, it says if tangent A equals 3, what is sine A? How would you start this problem? Draw a triangle. Put theta somewhere. I'll just put theta there. What is the definition of tangent? Opposite over adjacent. I don't have adjacent. What I'm going to put that? Over 1, because isn't 3 over 1 the same thing as 3? Okay, opposite would be 3, adjacent here. How would I find this? Pythagorean theorem. What's 3 squared plus 1 squared? 10, so it'd be square root of 10, wouldn't it? Does everybody understand that? Are we sure? Jace, we good? Now, I want the definition of sine. What's opposite of theta? 3. What's the hypotenuse? How do I'm going to have to rationalize? So 3 square root of 10 over 10 would be my sine. It only asks for sine, it didn't ask for all 6 of them. Number 5, it says solve for the triangle. When I says solve, you mean find all of missing what? Very good. I'm missing angle A, I'm missing side A, and I'm missing side C. This is side A, and this is side C. I can find angle A by adding 49 plus what? Minus 180. That gives me 41 degrees. Now I want to find A using this and this. That's adjacent. That's opposite, so I'm going to use tangent. 49 equals 17 over A. Cross multiply. A times tangent of 49 equals 17. Divide by tangent of 49. A equals 17 divided by tangent of 49. 14.8. Now I'm going to use this to find C. That's opposite hypotenuse. Sine of 49 equals 17 over C. C times sine of 49 equals 17. Divide by sine of 49. C equals 22.5. So this first page, guys, covers these 2 learning targets. Okay. Are we good on that? Yes, sir. You could have, but I prefer you do that when you're solving the triangle. Where at? All right. Next, through you got a section like this, converting from degrees to radians to degrees. What are we in right here? Degrees. So I want radians. So what will I multiply by? Very good. What can I take out of 210 and 180? 30. 30. That leaves 6 and that leaves 7. So that'd be negative 7 pi over 6. What form is this in? So I'm going to multiply by what? Because you want your pi's to cancel out. 6 goes into 180 30 times. Take that 6. 5 times 30 is 150. What form is this in? Radians. So I want to go to what? So I'm going to multiply by 180 over pi. 2 times 60 is 120. So you have 4 questions like that tomorrow. You also have 1 angle of elevation question tomorrow. Now these are not right triangles, so you're going to use law of sines or law of. Very good. Last section. Now I got a few multiple choice guys that ask like this. It gives you 4 situations. It's going to say which one would you start with the law of sines, or it can say which one starts with the law of cosine. So let's just go through these 3 and say what we would do first. On this one right here, what would you start with? Law of sines, because you know angle A and you know side A, don't you? How about number 10? Law of cosines, because that's side, 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 isn't it? How about number 11? Law of cosines, because you don't know an angle and a side across from it, do you? Do you see how that is? It's 4 where you don't do any work. You just pick a situation out, okay? All right, let's look at number 9. Number 9, we said law of sines. You are correct. So I need to find angle B, angle C, and side C. So I'm going to start off with sine of 30 over 2 equals sine of B over 4. Cross multiply. 4 times sine of 30 equals 2 times sine of B. Divide by 2. B equals. You're going to have to hit second sine because you're hunting for an angle. And you're going to learn this comes out very nice. I didn't realize this. I made this one off the top of my head. B is 90 degrees. So you said, Mr. I thought you couldn't use law of sines, cosines on 90-degree triangles. You can, but that's the long way. I just tell you do the short, like sine, cosine, tangent is 90. But you didn't know this was 90 degrees, so it happened to be out there. If this is 90 and A is 30, how do I find C? 90 and 30 is 120 minus 180 is 60. Very good. Now I'm going to find side C. Sine of 30 over 2 equals sine of 60 over C. So C times sine of 30 equals 2 times sine of 60. So 2 sine 60 divided by sine of 30. 3.5. We're just going to do one more. First period said they said we're good. We don't need to do 3 of these, so we're doing one more. You want 10 or 11? 10, okay. It's the hardest. All right. Like you said, law of cosines. So I need to find angle A, angle B, and angle C. They're capital letters, so you know they're angles. All right, I'm going to go with A first. A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine of A. 22 squared equals 20 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 20 times 16 cosine of A. Set my problem up like that. 484 equals 400 plus 256 minus 640 cosine of A. 484 equals 656 I'm hit second cosine. I get 74.4. So A is equal to 74.4 degrees. Now that I know this inside A, I can go to law of sines now. Sine of 74.4 over 22 equals sine of B over 20. Cross multiply. Divide by 22. Now you're looking for angles, so I'm going to hit second sine, the second answer, and I get 61.1. Now that I know these two angles, I can add those up. Subtract it from 180, and I get 44 0.5 degrees.